Hello and good afternoon, TV3. Ba-ba-da-ba. There's the message. How are we doing today? On what was a glorious sunny day, now looking a little overcast, windy as hell, but beautiful outside. Mm. Hopefully, your morning has been great. As we move into our screening day today, so as we wait for some folks to join, I figured I would just start class kind of outlining our week. So if there are folks that check on this stream or video later that aren't here, and hello Ryan, hi, they can get that information before we start our screening today. So just to give you guys and gals an idea of what's forthcoming, I'm just going to get a few things pulled up here. There we go, beautiful. And my calendar, I don't need my calendar. We're good. Okay. So just to give you an idea of what to expect this week, it's going to be a lighter week for us for a couple of reasons. The one predominantly is that we just finished up a fairly large project, and so I want to give us some time to breathe. I'm also only going to see you 2 days this week. And so I'm going to bounce over here to my desktop. So we'll get into our screening today, but know that some of this stuff will be forthcoming on class on Thursday. In fact, after our screening today, I kind of want to take a breath and just like enjoy the remainder of our day and your day tomorrow, knowing that, hey, TV production, there's nothing going to be due by next class. All right. But this document, it's 11 question reflection, will be posted for class on Thursday, so that I can go over it in a little bit more detail with you guys. It's a little bit more focused on the tech aspects of the project, because your workflow and how you managed your time over the course of our classes, since the structure of those classes was a little bit different, right? Our production days and our post-production days were arguably open up and free to you. And while I did do live streams to allow people to come in, ask questions, troubleshoot some stuff, I want to know if that time was valuable to you if you did not attend those sessions. And if you did attend those sessions, was that time valuable to you? So I'll move through this a little bit next class, but that's going to be it for our week. I figured with a project due today and we have a 3-day weekend coming up. Let's use this as an opportunity for some downtime, as the rest of the year for me is a little bit in flux. We're right at that cusp of, we've got one bigger end of the year project, maybe two smaller end of the year projects. And so some of that may be dictated based on what the school needs me to do for things like graduation. I've got the sports awards video that I'm working on. I've got the class elections that I'm working on. There's a lot of stuff kind of in the pipeline. So having an easier week for you will also make it easier for me to get some of those things done. All right. And then the rubrics that went back to you folks on Saturday, if you had your project turned in, you guys are fairly familiar with. I just wanted to kind of make a special note to make sure that you are checking the rubric, because it does have the notes and feedback on it. All right. This is the first time we're turning video projects in on Google Drive. So if you just checked Google Drive and saw a number with no comments, you might be a little confused as to where that number came from. So make sure you're checking that doc that gets shared out to each of you individually once that project is graded. So, whoops. Where we'll be today, and I'll welcome Ashley, Caitlin, and Nicholas to our stream. Thank you guys for being here. We're going to get into our screening, which means I need my headphones. These awful headphones is so bad. Very uncomfortable. But at least it will allow me to hear your work. Again, as I've seen it, I downloaded these from Google Classroom earlier this morning. And so if things were turned in late, then I don't have it. But I can always go up and get it. And of course, I want to respect your guys' time as well. I don't want to showcase any work of people that aren't here in our class today. I don't really think that's fair to you guys. If you've got stuff you can take care of for other classes, then it kind of behooves us to really just say, hey, you're here, you took the time to be here. Let's show your work and your work only. And if that means we wrap a little early, we wrap a little early, and that's okay. All right. So let me just get the updated ones from the folks that got those in, and we will get rolling. How is everyone doing on this fine day? Hopefully well. Okay. The only thing I'll have to do is that if it takes me a while, remember I can't just open up the file on my computer. I have to open it up in my broadcaster. All right. And if you didn't put the title of your project as the actual export title, or you didn't put your name in it, I might not know who it belongs to. So just be aware of that. And I'm going to delete Ashley's first edit and take the corrected one only. Okay, so, let's just start with that because I'm starting to get hungry. And what better way to not be hungry than to look at bacon? Maybe this will get it out of the way, as I know there are only a few other food-related ones this class. A lot of my TV1 students did some food stuffs, and I saw some beautiful cakes. I saw some excellent egg sandwiches. Definitely makes me hungry all day. So let's get that one loaded up here. 4A. There it is. Perfect bacon every time. Vegetarians beware. This will make you hungry. All right, so just like last time, I'm going to bring down my mic over our screening so we can enjoy, and I'll pop back on with a few comments just for everyone. I know the specific feedback for people went back on Saturday when I graded, so I don't need to get into too much detail, but just to point a few things out for some of the other folks in class. I won't spend too much time going over them now, but just to make sure we can get through as many as possible. So without further ado, let's enjoy some bacon making.
How to make the perfect bacon. Bacon comes from the pork belly cut of a pig and is the #1 breakfast food according to Thrillist.com. Here's what you're going to need. A pan, some tongs, paper towel and a plate, and of course the bacon. The first thing that you're going to want to do is preheat the skillet on the burner to a medium or high flame. Then open up the package by cut the full bacon strips in half. This will allow the bacon to cook quicker and will fit better on a roll or a bagel. Once the pan has been on the flame for 2 to 3 minutes, add 4 to 5 half pieces of bacon. When the edges of the bacon begin to brown, flip the bacon for the first time. Let the bacon cook on one side for about 2 minutes. Then, flip back over and finish the original side. Cooking bacon this way leaves it tasty and does not turn it hard once it is removed from the hot pan. This also tastes great with pancakes, waffles, eggs, and on a bacon, egg, and cheese breakfast sandwich, so it is very versatile. When the bacon is golden brown on both sides, remove it from the pan. Place the bacon on a paper towel covered plate so the grease will be absorbed. You can cook half the package, or the full package if you're really hungry. That's how to make the perfect bacon. Enjoy!
All right, that was really good, Ashley. And the additions that you added stand out. So did you utilize the stock footage available in WeVideo for that pig and some of the other breakfast foods? I'm really glad to see that you moved that little piece of information to the front, as it was a great precursor to what we saw. And I would love to live in a world where I can just sit down with a plate of bacon on the couch and eat it casually like a snack, but probably the most unhealthiest option you can come across. No, really good. I think what stood out to me the most when I watched that was your pacing as far as the edit, but also the information, and your step-by-step was really, really strong. And I was afraid that because your project fell a little bit shorter the first time around in the time frame department, that adding some things would have messed that pacing up, and it didn't. And so you guys know some of the projects are very telling when we see things that feel longer than they actually are or feel shorter than they really are. Is usually a sign of how well that edit came together. So cool. No, that's excellent. I'm glad that you utilized that. That was really smart use of that footage. And I'm really hungry now. But that was a really, really, really great job. So let's move on to our next video. To an RO production. Taking us outside, which is a nice change of pace, scenery-wise. Seen a lot of people's kitchens over the last 2 days. So without further ado, here we go, Ryan.
Step 1. Tire ski it's tight but comfortable. Step 2. Learn how to balance. Step 3. Point feet slightly outward. Step 4. Push your one foot out and glide with the other. Roller skating was invented in 1735 by John Joseph Merlin, Belgium, who famously introduced his new wheeled shoes in a party, London, and promptly crashed into a mirror.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.
Always appreciate a good Ferris Bueller's reference. Ferris Bueller reference. There we go. Ryan, good job. A few things just to kind of reiterate for everyone. I didn't know if we all caught the opening. And unfortunately, I don't have the ability to scrub through video when playing it back through my broadcaster. Spelling mistakes in your title, all right? Do not give a very good first impression as to what we are going to see. On top of which, it doesn't clearly explain what it is that we're demonstrating. So we go right from a title that's a little vague and misspelt to step one. And I chose this one after our How to Make Bacon to kind of show the flip side of pacing, right? You gave a lot of instruction very quickly. Some of your steps were very quickly back to back. And then we had a lot of montage-esque stuff towards the tail end of our video. I would have spaced out your instruction a little bit more to make that extra stuff that we had towards the end a little bit more meaningful and interesting, because at that point, we're watching you skate around with some music. And while visually that might be a little interesting, there's really nothing enticing us to stay and learn more because you've given us all the instruction already. So breaking up your voiceover could have helped make that a little bit more impactful over the course of the whole video, not just the first half of the video. All right, now I believe Caitlin has some makeup tips for us, which I know as soon as I saw this on Saturday, I practiced and I looked glam as hell for sitting at home by myself during quarantine. But Caitlin's going to show you how to do it right. Here we go.
For this makeup tutorial, the products you will need are foundation, concealer, eyebrow pencil, mascara, eyeshadow, and setting spray. I'm going to teach you how to put on makeup. So first, take foundation and lightly put that on your cheeks, forehead, and chin, and using the brush, just like spread it around your face. Next, using concealer, you're gonna put that under your eyes and on any blemishes you want to cover up. Next, using the eyebrow pencil, you're gonna first brush out your eyebrows and then start using the pencil side and draw on your eyebrows. Next, put mascara on your top and bottom lashes, and lastly, take the eyeshadow. I'm using the Kylie Jenner palette, and so I put almond, the darker color, in the crease, and rose, the lighter color on the lid, and then I used a glittery color, raspberry sugar, and put that over the lid as well. And then lastly, you're going to take setting spray and spray that on your face, and that is it.
Okay, now that we're all looking beautiful. A few quick things, Caitlin. Of course, it was in your feedback, but just for everyone, audio levels. And I know audio levels is like one of the hardest things in WeVideo to have to work with because we don't have meters in the program. So, like I said, I didn't take any points off for that. But the voiceover recording sounds like you're talking like you're almost whispering into the microphone as opposed to just speaking in your normal speaking voice. Which is what we would want to do for a voiceover, because early on, it's really hard to hear. So I cranked up the volume, and then when our music hit, it was super loud, and I had to lower the volume so it wasn't blowing out your guys' speakers. So just try and make sure that your recording environment, especially for voiceover, is as natural as possible, so you get those waveforms that are really easy to see and gauge amongst an audio track, right, a song track that's going to have clearly visible waveforms. That's the sound test, and making sure your headphone volume and computer volume are all set in WeVideo is the best way to go about it. I know it can be challenging just because there are no meters to give us that visual representation of where it is, regardless of how loud we're hearing it. So other than that, I think you did a good job with your step-by-step. The edit had a few black flashes in between you showing your products. And I would have made sure that those clips were a little bit closer to one another, but also trim out the parts where you're pressing record on the camera, right? We'd hold up a product and then we would see your hand come forward and stop it. We should hold up that product, even if it's like awkwardly long, so that you have room to then go, okay, I'm done, and then I can cut, and then cut that part out at the end. It would have made that a little bit more, those transitions a little bit more seamless. All right, so we got Tyler's in the hole. I had Nick's on deck. So we're going to learn how to make a bologna sandwich, which I haven't seen, Nick. I haven't seen this yet, so you'll get some first impressions here, and then we'll move into Tyler's. Here we go. Oh, I did see this. I'm so sorry. All right, now that we've got bacon and bologna sandwich, put the two together. Bacon and bologna, that actually sounds like it's a heart attack between two slices of bread. But I would eat it right now because now I'm really hungry. All right, so first thing, Nick, turn that phone horizontally, man. Get that 16:9, that widescreen aspect ratio. A little sliver of video you had more space around your video than you actually had video. And that's why we always rotate that first. I really liked the transition you did between snapping your finger and then it cut to the products on the table. I wish you utilized that more because it could have cut out some of the in-between time, right? You had step one, toast the bread, and then we had a shot of the ingredients, and then you like smushed them around and then took the bread out and then made it to the toaster. It should have been like, toast that bread, and you're at the toaster, snap, boom, bread's already in it, and we're going to push down the toaster. Things like that could have helped the pacing of your video a little bit. Otherwise, like I said in your feedback, the things we were missing was the on-camera presence outside of the demonstration. And I don't remember some of the more nitpicky stuff, but I think pacing was the key one there. So we got Rubik's Cube up now, which was a surprise. There we go. Okay. So I'm curious if everyone has the same reaction that I did at the end of this, because I really enjoyed it, and then the ending kind of threw me for a loop a little bit. So I'm curious how it resonates with you guys. Let's enjoy Tyler's video.
The Rubik's Cube was invented in 1974 by a man named Ernst Rubik. His goal was to make a puzzle that was both for kids and adults, as it would be fun to play with without solving, yet took a very complex and strategic way to actually solve. So I'm going to show you today just how to solve one of these puzzles. So before we get started, it is important to understand how the puzzle works first. It is composed of 3 different types of pieces and 6 sides: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and white. These 6 sides come together to make the cube. So first step, of course, is going to be mixing it up. So make sure you get a video of it so you can show your friends that you indeed are not cheating and you did actually mix up the puzzle completely. So once it's mixed up, we're going to go ahead and start solving. So the first step, of course, is to start with a side. So this is the middle piece. That is what the side's color is. So that was the white side. The sides can move, but they cannot be changed. So we're going to use a method called replacing to put all of the pieces in to solve a side. So we're going to do that right there. Boom. Did you miss it? No problem. I'll go over it. So what we're going to do is we're going to line it up so that the piece that we want in is directly underneath where it's going to go. We're going to move it out of the way, bring that side down, bring it back, and push it up. There we go. Got a piece in. We're going to continue this until we have a whole entire side of the Rubik's Cube solved. And just with one more, move away, bring down, move back, back up. Done with the side. Now while it may look like it is done and completed there, it's actually not, because those 3 have to match the color in the middle. So we're going to just move the pieces. So we're going to take them out and we're going to use the same replacing method in the proper spots based off of the corners of the side. Now this step does get a little tricky, just bear with me. Okay, so the alternative to this is going to be reviewing the footage of us scrambling it. We're going to place it in reverse and follow step for step, pace for pace, move for move, strategically plotting the movements, making sure we do not mess up, and we're just going to copy it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We're going to go all the way through this until we come upon the end of the puzzle. And here we go. What the?
All right. So, Tyler, as I stated, I really liked your edit. I love that your personality comes through in both the voiceover and the writing of that script. The shots towards the end I thought were fantastic. The white background, I guess, that you had for some of your Rubik's Cube shots. Also, it looks really clean, very well exposed. Like, it looks really nice. And honestly, from a step-by-step standpoint, like I said, from someone who's never been able to solve a Rubik's Cube, it was actually really encouraging to see you go through that process, because I was like, oh, that's what it is, and I've never had it explained that clearly before. So I thought that was really good. The part that threw me at the end was I wasn't sure exactly what we were looking at. And so I understand the comedic notion in cutting to black at the end, but I didn't understand what it was that like was going on the cube that showed something like that wasn't clear to me. So I was like, wait, hold on, what was wrong? I have no idea. So I'm guessing it brought us back to something that was either insolvable. I'm not sure. So that's why, like, could you fill us in a little bit on that now? I'm just curious. And I'm going to see if I can load up the next video, as hopefully you can give some explanation there, what we were seeing at the end before we cut away. And actually, there are probably some people lurking on our video, because I've showed everyone's that I've had. I got 2 more, but I don't think they're here. So unless Dean's here and he's being quiet, or unless Perry's here and he's being quiet, or Alex for that matter. Sorry, I have 3 videos. Then we might call it on the day. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Interesting. So that, I mean, I don't know what's the workaround for that. Do you show that process and then kind of solve most of it off camera and then kind of rejoin towards the end to kind of eliminate right, if you show it for one side and you were as detailed as you were, arguably it could be the same process for every side. So I don't know. I don't know what that would look like. Would that mean then solving the cube off camera, and then as you come across a hiccup or something that you think is worth showing, do you then go, oh, okay, let me show this on camera and then continue to work through? And that way you're highlighting only the difficult parts or where you might need to do some tricky maneuvering. Again, I'm not sure. I'm not an expert in that at all. And it looks like our viewer count dropped, so maybe those folks have just dipped out because they don't want to show their video. But thank you for explaining that, Tyler. That gives it a little bit more perspective, at least. That was really, honestly, my only big issue with the video was just the ending was a little confusing to me. But the step-by-step was done really well. Pacing of the edit was great. The edit itself was fantastic. And aesthetically, it was just very pleasing to look at. Nice, clearly lit white background, colorful cube. Shots were good. Nothing was overexposed. It was done really well. I guess then, it looks like we're going to wrap a little early on the day, given that everyone that's here, we took a look at your video. And again, like I said, I don't want to show people's work if they're not here to get that feedback. And quite honestly, if I don't want to feel like I'm wasting your time showing work of people that aren't in class. So we'll call it a little early on the day. 8 or 9 different algorithms to solve. And that's probably why, being someone who is not a math person, I have no interest. Gotcha. I've been able to get like 3 sides, but it's just like kind of luck of the draw for me. And then at that point, I'm like, well, how do I get one side without undoing the other side entirely? And at that point is when I usually chuck it against the wall and say, why is this a toy? But I know people can just solve it in like 9 seconds or something ridiculous like that. So it's clearly solvable. Just I can't wrap my head around it. But that's just me. So if you can, that's awesome. I think that's great. So we'll wrap on the day. And hey, we got a little bit of extra time, but like I said, that's okay, given that we just wrapped up a fairly large project. Know that on Thursday, I'm going to go over the reflective assignment for that day in a little bit more detail. And then hopefully we can utilize some of that time to actually get that done. I think that would be the best use of time, so that way you don't have to worry about it heading into a 3-day weekend. And we'll reconvene next week with a little bit more focus on what we're going to be moving into next. I'm hoping I'll have a little bit more, a better idea of what's on the docket for me and for the school as far as graduation stuff is concerned, because that's where some of my focus is going to be shifting. And I want to make sure that as a class, we're in a good position to keep doing what we're doing and build on our skill sets and try new things and hopefully have fun along the way. So that being said, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. I hope you get a chance to get outside, enjoy some sun, some nice weather, breathe, relax, unwind, and we'll touch base again on Thursday. So if anyone needs anything from me, reach out. I'm going to be by my computer most of the afternoon and evening working on some video stuff. So if you shoot me an email, I should be able to reply pretty quickly. If you've got a question or an issue or something you need to talk about, I'm here. All right. Otherwise, we'll see you on Thursday. So enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and I will talk to you later. See ya.